pretend there's music, and we're dancing, and we're dancing.
And now we're doing the close up. Ooh, ooh.
All right, everybody, we don't have Sarge, our producer, tonight, so we're missing our music. So this is our pretend dancing. Well, it's real dancing without music.
It's all up here, baby. It's all up here.
Well, whatever.
There was
Mike-
singing going on a little while ago.
There,
There
and
was.
we could do a little bit of singing. It would be okay right now, Jenna.
Jenna, go. Go, Jenna,
Oh,
go.
I'm feeling pressure. What do I sing?
We're on.
Otto Titzling, inventor and Kraut had nothing to
No!
get there. Oh.
Not that one.
Anyway, it's Otto Titzling. Look it up. It's really fun.
No. She can sing everywhere that song. No. We did that enough on our expedition. I don't think Tammy was in the car. She sang it
Thank
twice.
goodness. Thank goodness.
Well, we were asking everybody to put their favorite songs in, and then we were playing them, and they asked me, and I thought, golly, I don't know. I guess I'll go with that one. Nobody liked it.
I
I don't
sang
think-
with her. I sang with her because I do know
That's
the song.
true.
But anyway,
That's true.
so Mike, you were saying before I hit the record button that your favorite video on our YouTube channel is?
Yeah, so it's kind of it's probably kind of like shows who I am as a person, because like you guys have done so much amazing stuff, right? But it's that one where it's like one of you are recording and like you're like egging on the other two who are walking through the lobby to like start dancing. and
Jen
singing.
was recording.
I guess like you guys are all geared up and you're she squatches stuff and it's like. And like
That was
I
yes.
probably watched it like 5 times before I was like, like
What am I doing?
What am I watching here?
I'm like oddly too interested in this video right here.
I have to go watch it again.
But
You
it was
should try hanging out with us. We're pretty fun.
We are fun.
Do not say it, Jenna.
Yeah, it was fun. So that's good. It's good to see people being themselves. Like a lot of people get too hung up on like being a YouTube person, like not, you know what I mean?
Being
But
taken seriously in the Bigfoot world. I don't care. I'm me.
It's true. We are all ourselves.
well,
We're
it's
no.
easy. It's easier.
We are
that
not
way.
quiet. We do not sneak up on Bigfoot. Bigfoot definitely knows we're there. We're not
They
quiet.
always know
We wear
anyway.
hot pink.
Might as well have fun.
And we're loud.
Especially them, because I'm very quiet.
Whatever.
Totally teasing.
So I know we're not doing like a formal show because we don't have our Sarge, our producer. Hi, Sarge. But we've got a really awesome guest tonight, everybody. It's Mike Colontonio.
Well
Help me.
done. Yeah, you got it.
I did
And I
it.
love the accent.
From New York.
I
Nice.
did it. And he's an army guy. I don't know where I find them, but here he is.
Yay.
I find him everywhere I look in Virginia Beach.
Thank you
I'm
for
not
your
really a
service.
part-
What did you do in the army?
I don't know. I didn't really do anything. But I was a mechanic technically, but I wasn't really. I had done like everything in every trade and tried college and like I was not into anything and like I didn't want to work a 9 to 5 and like I went in with a friend to the recruiting office and like to like kind of like just go with him and I was like making fun of them and they're like, oh, what do you got going on? It's so great. And I'm like, well, nothing. And next thing you know, I was signed up. And, I was gonna do reservist and then for whatever reason it didn't work out and I was like 2 weeks later I was on my way. And so I never really got like into the army. Like I never really let it like I never really let it like I never let it take
Define
over me.
you.
I always had one foot in and one foot out.
But you did 20 years?
No. Only like less than 4, a little less than 4.
Well, thank you
Okay.
for your service because that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, the reason I'm not, I'm not really retired. Like we talked about this earlier, it's not really retired. It's like disability retirement. So.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, I was gonna tease you for you weren't really in the army, but you did 20 years. I was like, "Ah!"
Oh, and no, I wouldn't. I was getting out anyway. It just kind of worked out where I got
Worked out.
really banged up right at the end.
There you go. There you go. Well, it
Wow.
worked out for you. Now you get to be Bigfooting all the time.
That's it.
right. Well, I hope your body is okay and that you're not suffering a lot every day from everything. So
Tip for tat, I guess. It's not perfect, but who is, right?
I
Right.
get that 100%.
Yeah.
So where do you live?
Oh,
Specific address so we can stalk you? No, really.
Right. Oh,
I'll be
Jen's
there
all about
tomorrow.
stalking
I
tonight.
almost, I almost went there, and I was like, "Wait, what am I doing?" Like, I live in Long Island, New York.
I told you it was a New York accent.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm out east, and it's a very misunderstood area. Like it's very wooded, but it's very overpopulated too. So, but not a lot of people go in the woods, So I have those pretty much to myself. But it can be kind of frustrating, like when I'm doing my Suburban Sasquatch thing, and like I'm like in nature and like really vibing, and all of a sudden there's like sirens or like car alarms going off in the
Right.
distance. Yeah, it kind of kill the vibe. It's not you're not super in nature. You're in nature, but society's close by. Sometimes that's kind of beneficial too, because I could kind of like let my guard down and really like just let loose, and knowing that I could scream and somebody would hear me if something happens.
Right.
They'd say,
Somebody
"Shut
may
up!"
Right. Shut up, you.
I don't
Oh,
even know.
Tammy, we just got done with an interview somewhere else, and I heard the whole interview. I hear Tammy laughing.
In inappropriate times because she's lagging.
Yeah, the whole interview lagged for me, so
Oh,
I'm like, I can't wait to laugh at myself later.
Yeah, you hear her talking, but she's just sitting there going.
This
And
is
then
actually,
later she's not talking.
oh,
right.
that's the worst. Yeah, that's the worst. Well, whatever. As long as you can have fun with it and not take it too serious, it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. We are so excited that you're on the show with us. I got to tell the girls this because they don't know this part, but so the other day, I think it was Sunday, I had the
Yeah,
TV on in my house, and like usual, it's on, but I'm not really looking at it because I'm on my phone,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Right.
And I hear something Bigfoot, so of course I look up at the TV to see what about Bigfoot, and then I hear this voice. I'm like, hey, I think I know that voice, and there he is. I know that guy. Hey, that guy's coming on my show this week, and he's on
Oh,
Paranormal Caught on Camera or something like that. Was that the name of the
Uh-huh.
show?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, was that the first
I
time it
like that
aired
show.
too, and I actually caught it?
Yeah, it was. I was actually camping, and like I was doing a live stream, and like some of my mods were like texting me like, "You're on TV," like, right, and I'm like swiping their messages away, like, why are you texting me during the stream? You know what I mean?
oh, that's so
Like,
funny.
and like and then I had to go live again and like tell everyone like, hey, like, so I actually didn't see it Sunday night, but yeah, it was cool. That was the first time it aired. Yes, yeah.
So how was
That was
it?
cool.
Yeah,
It
I
was
mean, like,
Bigfoot. He had video of Bigfoot.
They
but I
did
mean,
they did nice by me. I think so, at least. I expected a little more like, give and take, but pretty much everybody was like, usually there's like one person that's like very like on this end and that, and everyone was pretty like for what was going on for like a Suburban Sasquatch video that's like years old and kind of crappy footage, because now it's not good footage. You know what I mean? Like even then it
yes.
wasn't great because I seen one and I got nervous at the time, so I went live stream, and it gives me this false sense of like people are with me. You know what I
Security.
mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. So like I was doing that, and next thing you know, that's when I happened across, and I think it was a different one as a female, I believe, and that's what they wanted to use. I'm like, I could do better. I'm like, I got better stuff if you want it. They're like, no, like this is the one. So that's
Nice.
what it is. Yeah.
How
But it was cool.
exciting. Well, good for you.
Yeah, it's good for the community, I guess, right? It's always a win when they use anything Bigfoot related, and that's the message I want to get out, is that they can be, out here in these places, like, and so close to our houses and our places that we are on a regular basis. You don't have to go, because that's what I thought. You had to go to the middle of nowhere in the Pac West. I thought that's what it was, and so I try to get that message out there. So it's cool that it gets out to the masses. The reaction's been a little mixed from the outside world. People who don't know me yet, like, I'm just getting messages because they used my real name. So, like, I'm getting messages, like, directly to my, like, Facebook, like, how much did they pay you to do this crap? Like, who's in this suit? Like, that kind of stuff.
Are you serious?
There's not a lot of it, but yeah, people are very direct. Like, yeah. So it was interesting. But I mean, most of it was good feedback. Like, people like, hey, me and my son love Bigfoot, and like, we want to just, we want to know where it was, kind of, and like, are we in that area? Because we live here too, and like, oh, like, do you mind? Like, and I'm like, I'm trying to respond to people, like, and the first thing they're asking me is like, where was it? And I'm like, how do I say this not rudely and be like,
None
I'm
of
not
your
gonna
business.
tell you. You know what I mean? Like,
So what kind of things do you tell people other than none your business, like Tammy just said?
that's the thing. Probably location is one of the few things I hold back. I just don't want people to, and it's not people. Like, if it's somebody who, like, seems trustworthy, I'll take you right there. You know what I mean? I'll take you right there with me. I don't care. But I just don't want, like, the wrong people to piggyback off of me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
'Cause I don't edit and do a lot of things. Pretty much as soon as I get done, I just send the video up. It's raw and uncut. So somebody could piggyback off of it very, very quickly. If they wanted to figure out where I was, like, off the video, you could. Like, if you're a local or something. So I try not to get, like, things in the video that might give away the location, certain stuff like that.
Very
Gotcha.
good. Very good.
Gotcha. So do you think Bigfoot in the city has an accent?
I think he's got, like, whoops, he's at whoops.
Okay, that is a great question. So if you would think, I mean, what would a Bigfoot from New York sound like?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
A whoop. I don't even know how it would be. Whoop. I don't know.
I think when they use the portal, they every time they come through it, they have to say, "I'm over here now."
Right. Oh my gosh, I love it.
And now I'm over here.
That's so cool.
I love it.
That's all I could think of. I try.
Oh, you thought well. It came out fabulous.
Is that
I'm
the first
over
time
here
you got
now.
that question?
Wait, what?
Is that the first time someone's asked that question?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm sure we're gonna come. I'm sure you guys are gonna come up with some original content today, and
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Well, I had to come up with something new.
So I'm gonna put you guys on the spot right now, because I want to have you guys over by me too, because, like, I know my subscribers would love you, and that's how I like to introduce them to people. I don't like to just, like, be like, hey, check these people out. I like to bring them there and just, have them meet you guys. So because that's how your personalities really shine, when they can interact with you. So if you'd like to,
You're right.
bye. That would be
I
cool.
love New England. I'm down.
Well,
He's asking us to do his show. I'd love to do your show. Tammy's like, I'll come over.
I'll come there. You're what, 10 hours
Wouldn't that
from
be
me?
fun? I know somebody else in New York.
Yep,
there's so many good, good people up here, but there's like, Long Island's weird. Like, the traffic and hell you got to go through to get here, like, is not fun. Like, there's some people I know coming out to Montauk, and, like, I'm like, man, they don't know what they're in for. Like, it's the far East End, which is further than me, and the traffic is just nuts. It's not distance. It's just how many people.
I live in Virginia Beach. We got lots of traffic too.
Yeah, well, everyone has to go the same way. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So anyway, yeah, you guys are always welcome.
All right. Well, just let us know when to come, what the cheapest way to get there is, and where we're going to be staying.
Where are we staying?
Events, and bring us in. There you go.
Just pop through a portal, and but when you come through, you got to say, "I'm over here."
Okay.
I'm over here.
Hey.
No, we're from North Dakota, Minnesota. We'd be going, we're over here.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah, we're over here. No.
That's
over there.
My buddy from Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
I always make fun of him because I say, "You sound like a." Remember that show Bobby's World? It was a cartoon back in the day.
Yes, I do.
And his mom would be like, "Oh, Bobby, don't you know?" And like,
yes. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I can't remember the woman's name, but she was on another show and she has red hair. And she's she's short and a little heavier set woman, but she did the voice for Bobby's World with Blom.
Wow. Okay. I just remember the voice. I don't remember much else.
I have to look up this Bobby's World to see the picture.
You wait till you see. Wait till you see her.
Used to ride this little bike, like racing around. I don't remember much else. So.
Awesome.
Big wheel. His big wheel.
Yeah.
So how long you been into Bigfoot, and how did that get started for you?
All right. So, I mean, I was always like into Nessie, I guess. As a child, like we used to go to Montauk, my mom every year, but she'd be like, "Oh, where do you want to go?" And we'd always it was like an open-ended, it was a closed-ended question. Like that's where we were going anyway. So like like it was just like a local, cheap single mom like location that we could go to off peak and kind of a vacation like close to home. And but I would always say Scotland, and I wanted to go to Loch Ness, and I would always say like, you just got to get me there. Like I know where we got to be. Like, and this is a young kid too. Like and I just be like, just got to get me there. I know where we have to go, and where everyone's screwing up. Like I know where, and I don't know what this place looks like, but in my mind I can see this spot I have to be to in Loch Ness, and I kept repeating that like every year. And then, as time goes on, you hit like teenage years and you get into all sorts of other crap. And then, you grow up and all these things fade away. And so I guess I was kind of into Bigfoot a little bit. Like Mike Patterson got me back involved, like maybe like back into like the topic, maybe. I guess I always kind of was in and out of it because nothing really like appealed to me, but something about him really like I was drawn in, and I just kept watching it. And like, speaking of Sasquatch, I was just like I was watching it like over and over and over, and I was very drawn to it. And I never thought it was going to be something that I was going to experience. It just didn't. I had no. It wasn't even a thought that it was gonna happen. But anyway, I come back from war. And I'm a mess, and I get dropped off back into society, and I come back to Long Island, and I had addiction problems for a long time, so I go and dive back into that. And so, long story short, I that doesn't work out, right? So now I have PTSD and addiction, and they're not meshing very well, and I'm not falling back into society and doing everything I should do like a normal person, right? Get a job and do this and do that, and so. That comes to an end, and I have to get some help. So I start my process, and I guess the addiction came first. That's what kept getting like pushed on me. Is like, you got to fix that before you can fix anything. And I'm like, this boat is gonna sink. I'm like, I'm a mess over here and over here. I'm like, if we keep working on one thing only, I'm gonna keep tipping over, and we're gonna drown. So I had to keep insisting that I had to work on both, and I knew that's what I had to do. Even though they were both hard to do by themselves, I had to dive into both of them, and I did. I started putting myself impatient, and I had to do it a few times to get it right. And while I was doing this, it took me like 5 years to get it done. To the point where I was like really okay, but even still, I was getting okay, but I didn't really have any. Like, I didn't feel like traction in the society. I felt pretty hopeless. Like, I don't fit in out here. Like, nothing. I can't do this shit. Like, I don't know what people are talking about. I don't know what football games and politics and traffic and 9 to 5s and like none of this stuff. Like, I don't fit here. Like, I don't get here and nothing. And it seemed very hopeless. But the whole time I was walking these woods, and for like 5 years, either once or twice a day for a couple of hours a day, I was walking these woods, and um, quite often I was like kind of like a kid, like pretending. Like, and I was an only child, so I was like good at talking to myself. But like I was kind of like pretending like there were Sasquatch around, because I kind of had this long distant idea that one day I'm going to save up some money and I'm going to be able to go to the Pac West, and I'll be able to walk around and like look for Bigfoot in the big woods, and and that's when it happened. I had an encounter right there, and it was at 5 years walking around, not knowing a thing, not seeing a thing, same places over and over, and I had been kind of dabbling with people, so they were putting things in my head a little bit, so I was kind of getting a little bit of like comfort, but or understanding, or so I thought. But this encounter, like, I mean, mind you, my last job was a soldier, and just he didn't do anything threatening. He just didn't growl, show his teeth, nothing. Just sheer size. I don't think I even made it up to his face. I started looking up, and I realized this wasn't a person there, and I dropped to the floor. I was in a fetal position. I started screaming like, no, no, no. I think like, no, no. And like, kind of like, I think I was crying from like the hysterics, and like, it was like fight or flight. And I did flight, but like my flight was like, don't run, just go down, like just, just go down and beg. And again, like I, when I think about it, I'm like, man, I reacted like an idiot, but that's just, I didn't, that's just what happened. It is what it is. Like, I try to be just comfortable in what decisions I make, but I'm like, damn, people are out there looking, and like I find one, and I drop down and like duck my head and scream, go away, like. So that's kind of how I got into it. And
What?
like I would say, I guess, sorry, but I guess there's like a point where you see one, and then people vow like, I'm never going out there ever again, or like I gotta get some answers. So for me, I started going back out, and it just started unfolding for me to the point where I just like, I went down a weird path. It still does every day. Like, it's not the normal thing. Like, you have people that want things to be so normal and cut and dry, and it's not that way for me. Like, it's not. But even still today, I go out every single time. I go out every day. I try different places, and I always go out as a student of nature and the universe, and I always go out not knowing anything. I don't know anything, even though I know things. Like, I go out and I don't know anything. Whatever you want to give me today, whatever you want to teach me today. Like, I'm here. I'm your student. I'm on your terms.
I like that.
Yeah, what a beautiful story you have, especially, it's very unique, especially in the way that you were talking how you came home from being in the war, and, you were put into a position like that, and your flight response was to fall. And know this, that every decision we have made in the past was the best decision for us to make at that point in life. So never feel like you know, don't feel dumb about your decision.
Yeah. It all worked out, but like in that moment, I was just like so disappointed in myself. But it is what it is.
So what
Yeah.
happened after you dropped and you were telling? Did he just go away?
Sorry. Yeah. Almost instantly. Almost instantly. There was no like, this is a giant. There was no like, boom, 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 walk away. It's just,
Go on.
oh,
Can I ask you, did you happen to see his head at all?
not that day.
Okay. Have you seen
Yeah.
the top part of their heads?
Yeah.
Have you seen the hairline?
I don't know if I'd say the hairline, but like he's weird because like, well, not weird, but I shouldn't say weird, but like a chin strap that men wear. Like his is gray. He's dark, and he's dark haired, but his chin strap goes all the way around, like in a full circle, and it's gray. It's like silvery gray. So he's like, it's kind of interesting. It's like this like 1 inch like hairline like that. That's very
Does
like,
it come to a point similar to ours? You know how ours have different.
No, I don't think so. It's like almost like a perfect oval, like, you know what I
So
mean?
it's a straight across, is what you're saying?
No, I don't think it's a long. I think it's. I want to say. I don't know. I picture his face as like an oval. Like the skin is just a perfect oval. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, that's what it seems like anyway. I don't think I've ever really studied it, but that's something I always beat myself up on. Is when people tell like detailed stories. I'm like, damn, I suck. You know, like I'm like,
Me too.
I suck at that because I don't. Because there's this one guy I know, and like he has like to the point where he saw dirt under the fingernails, and I'm like, man, like, I'm,
That's
like I could,
detail oriented. Holy moly. Oh,
I didn't even see his head. I just saw dirt under his nails.
but like it makes me like feel so shamed that I don't. But you know, it is what it is. We all have our not gifts, but our our qualities that are whatever. You know what I mean? Some people are better at
definitely.
things than others, I guess.
Yes, I'm better at everything than these guys, so I'm just I'm totally kidding. You're supposed to say yeah, she is. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, really. No, these girls are fabulous. I love them to death.
We all have our things that we shine in.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Yeah. How was your last
Especially
episode? That's
I
yeah.
guess.
Mine is just
Like,
better than
you're
you.
just out there for a while, right? I'm like am I your first return show, right? Because you guys were in the field for a while.
Yes, you are our first return show.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was me you heard, by the way.
So
I
we are not being really formal tonight. We've been spending way
no,
too much time together in the field laughing.
yeah, thank God. That's the way I do it, though. I can't be formal. Like I did 2 other shows today too, and like I'm like, it, the, I was on the Cryptid Huntress, the second show I did today. And Jessica Jones, a real good, nice girl, like whatever. But she was like, "Oh, we're like so informal." I'm like, "Please, let's just, I'm like, that's the way I do it anyway. Like, just like let's chill, let's relax, and just like kind of see what happens organically. Like, I when I go on something very scripted, and it's like, I feel like I'm like a stuttering jerk that way.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's hard.
I like it better like this than when we're
Yeah,
like, oh, now we're going to talk about this.
right, right.
Jen used to make fun of me because every time we wouldn't do it, like if we did just a show that I knew that they would be like able to go back and take things out, I would do terrible. I would just be like, "Oh, can we do that again?" And I was terrible.
I'm
And
like,
she'd say,
stop
she would
giving
tell,
her that option. This is
I
one
know,
time and one time only, and she does it great.
yeah, yes. I mean, but no, I really, I don't know what it is.
It is. It's hard when it's kind of like scripted or like you're just like kind of going with the flow, and then someone like looks down at their paper and it's like, so by the way, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like I don't. It's just more. I like when it just kind of goes wherever it's gonna go, because then I don't
Right.
have to think about things. Yeah.
It's when you just have a cool conversation with
Yeah.
someone and get to know them and enjoy them.
All
Did you
flows.
just go through in and
Yeah.
out of different
By
accents
the
in that sentence, Jenna, or was that me hearing something?
You probably heard it. I probably didn't do that. I don't know. I don't think so. I have no idea. I didn't mean to do it. What did I say?
She did.
I
She
could
did.
be
She had
doing
a
anything
couple
over
of
here. I
accents.
don't know. Like I'm so ADD. Like I could have been like, yeah, I don't know. I could.
Squirrel.
It might have been me doing something.
Oh man, I gotta watch this now. Geez, I've got a lot of stuff I have to watch tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to go laugh at myself on Bobby's show.
Bobby.
Bobby.
Bobby. Hello,
Oh,
Bobby.
And a
Hello,
boy.
Bobby. Suddenly we all turn English. Hello, Bobby. That was a really good
Hello, Bobbit.
accent.
you talking about Bobby Dizzle?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Yes,
on his show right before this one.
Yeah. Oh,
Bobby T.
he's a good egg. Yeah. He's a good
We
kid.
could not be serious for the life of us that show.
No, it's that's good though. Like he's one that can handle it. You know what I mean? Like he's good like that.
He's got a great sense of humor. I was like, hey, now I like that sense of humor. It was really cool.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Good times. Good times.
Mm-hmm. So how
So, do
often?
you ever go
Oh,
out
sorry.
with other people going looking for Bigfoot? Do you do camp outs? Can you camp out there?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I was camping out on Sunday when that thing aired. That's what I was saying. Like, yeah, there's. That's why like Long Island's so confusing to people. Like, I'm like 50 miles from the city, and then like there's so much woods out here. Like, so I was camping on the Pine Barrens, the edge of the Pine Barrens, and the Peconic River, and there's this campground. And it's like nobody goes there because it's like very like primitive camping, and like, you know what I mean. It's got like porta potties and no electric, so like nobody wants to go there, right? And the bugs are crazy, and there's like a highway nearby. Like I watched the reviews on like it's all negative, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Nobody's gonna go there. And I started going, and it's perfect because nobody goes there. But for what I do, it's perfect because the Pine Barrens and the river, it's like you're positioned right between them, and it's really cool. So I started going there recently, but because in the summer here everything's packed. People will try to go to the Hamptons and Montauk and stuff, and then they some people try to like save money from like motels and hotels and stuff, so they go camping in a lot of these places, and it just gets overcrowded. It just happens. So I've been using this spot, which is good, But anyway, the question I think before that was, do I go with people? And yeah, I try to. I always have an open invite, and then I have a couple of guys locally who come with me regularly. Like, and then uh, I travel whenever I can. I go up to the mountains too a lot, and then I have like a 12-person team up there that's off the grid. They're not like public, but I was doing a lot of work up there, and when I had to leave, uh, I left it in hands of this 12-person, and they're light workers, spiritual people. I mean, amazing people on all different levels, and they just like it was almost like that's the way it's supposed to work out. So like they all live in the Catskills, right? In these perfect areas, and they're all telling me about everything that they've had happen already, and like it all came together, and like this guy asked me, and like I knew him well, but like he was like, "Can you sit down and like like hold like kind of like a little meet and greet?" And they like catered it, and I'm sitting in someone's house I don't know in this like circle of chairs, and like, mind you, the first, we're kind of introducing you. Hi, how are you? Like meeting each other, and as people are coming in and stuff, and like the first few minutes I'm there, I start bawling, crying uncontrollably. And like I'm just talking about something, and it just took over me to the point where I was like, I mean, like, blubbering and like, like bad, really bad. And I was like, this is terrible. Anyway, it comes to
You
find
were
out.
around psychics, weren't you?
Oh man, so much stuff. Yeah. Oh, come to find out, like this is what really like they all need it. All worked out well. I'm like embarrassed, but it all worked out the way it was supposed to in the end. And yeah, it was a really cool whole thing. Like I could go into all these different moments and different I could go into all just that day alone, I could go into so many things that were just like beyond like, you know, forget about coincidence, you know what I mean? Like just crazy cool. But
But you're sensitive too, though, right?
um yeah, I think I'm somewhere in that empath range, I guess. Um yeah, I don't that's kind of where I fall, I think.
So when you're out in the forest and you have an encounter, are you able to sense what they're feeling? Or are you really in your own feels?
If I'm not like on point, I don't even try to go out there. Like if I'm not like able, so I always say it's like a walkie-talkie kind of, right? So I try to vibrate at the same frequency all the time and like same vibration so they can find me when as soon as I get there and like while I'm there, you know what I mean? It's like a walkie-talkie, right? Me and you could be on a walkie-talkie 10 feet away. If we're not on the same channel, it's not gonna, it won't be anything. But once you connect, it's loud and clear and it works perfect. So um, I try to be there and like let them connect to me in any way they want. Um, as far as feeling goes, yeah, sometimes, yeah. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it's sometimes I'm just connecting to like all different things, like all sorts of different stuff. I try to let anything, anything positive, I don't really like repeat it over and over again like some people will, like, about like prayers and, things like that to like keep darkness away. But I kind of like have like a firm like footing on like, that's kind of like embedded in me at this point that like none of that crap can mess with me at this point. But I always tell people always have something in your back pocket that's kind of easy to say that you don't have to think about, that you rehearse, that you can just say quick and in a hurry if you need to. Um, so, as long as everything's going smooth, yeah, I really love connecting to like everything out there. It's just, and water, anything water related for me is like, forget about it. I'm like, good.
Get about
It helps. Yeah, it helps. Yeah, it helps. Yeah. For me, I don't know. I don't
I'm
know
a
what it
water
is.
girl.
Yeah, I mean,
Me
forget it.
I
too.
am too.
So good, so good. It's just like I love it. I
I'm
love it.
I'm a, I'm an inland water girl. I'm the freshwater girl, and
Yeah. Well, the new
Tammy's
thing
a
I do,
saltwater girl.
And I'm an all water girl.
yeah, I don't really care what it is, but I guess fresh water's cool. Like I like going to waterfalls lately. That's my new thing. I'm like checklisting all these waterfalls and like going to them and like just the last one I like spent hours there and I was like swimming at the base of it and like it's so awesome. And then sitting there in like the flowing water and like that was one of the last lessons I got was that I needed to pass along to people that they had to ground in water because and flowing water and to ground in it because all the energy that flows through that place is embedded in there and everything comes to it not only to drink but it's all connected to that flowing water and it passes through this forest and these woods and so it was like my thing to pass along and so I'm trying to find somewhere to go and like talk about this and it ends up being like I'm in the Catskill Mountains at Catterskill Falls. It's like a almost 300-foot waterfall. And like it's the middle of the morning and it's like 5 in the morning and I have to get there early on a Saturday. And like, I'm like, I'm like doing well, I'm vibing well. And like, I'm trying to find the right spot. And I think I do. And like the water's freezing. And then like these like random guys come out of nowhere. And I'm like, damn, like there's like always a test. Not always, but there, and like I'm like trying to get in the zone and like get I'm running on like no sleep and like the water's cold and like it's kind of chilly outside and it's like and these like drunk guys come out of nowhere and like I'm in the middle of nowhere like and they and I expect people to come from maybe from like the direction of the parking lot but like I don't even know where these guys came from and they were like just stumbling out drunk and like they were like egging me, like, you know what I mean? Like, because there was a group of guys and I'm sitting there like barefooted in the water and they're like poking at me and like trying to like just mess with me. And I'm like, I'm being assertive, but not like, not trying to be a tough guy or like, I'm not trying to be passive or aggressive, but I'm like trying to just like answer like, nah, no, like, oh, yeah, what I don't even know what they were saying, but, so it kind of threw me off a bit. But I journeyed on and then I went and tried to like bring this message back again, so what I did was I came back after and I did a live stream about how in my healing I learned that we were talking about earlier when I was getting like my addiction and my PTSD healing I got a lot of help from a yoga instructor. So I was doing yoga every morning and then she did Reiki to me. And then I in turn, she became my Reiki master and I got like certified up, I'm on like level 2 right now, but whatever, it don't matter. And then I was doing like meditation and Reiki and stuff with her. So I was talking about how I used my Reiki as like a walking meditation in the field and stuff and how I took aspects of these different things and like tied them in to like what I do in the field and how it helped me understand different things. So um, yeah.
I love that you're experimenting, especially with energy and the Earth's energy. And I think healing, so much healing can come from the Earth.
I
If we
I was
just,
gonna ask too. Like, do you think that showing up at a place where Bigfoot might be with prior just doing like Reiki and just bringing your energy level to that point, do you think that that makes them more interested in you?
Yeah, I maybe. I mean, I feel spoiled. Like when people are like, "Oh, you think Sasquatch is there?" I'm like, it don't matter where I go, really. Like, I don't want to sound cocky, but I feel like no matter where I go, I'm gonna get activity. And I don't think it's location. I think it lies within me, and that's not me trying to be like. I'm just saying that's where I've gotten to, And like, do I think they reside everywhere I go? No. I think they come everywhere I go if they choose to. And that's the thing. It's like they might show presence, but on what level? That it's all up to them. And I don't like walking there like, I never walk in thinking like, oh, this is gonna be great. Like it's gonna happen right now. Like I just walk in the same way every time. Like I'm here. I hope you guys show up. And I manifest them before I come. I try to put that energy out there, and you know, you do that. If you do that with anything in life, anything. Watch. I just challenged everyone to do it yesterday. Just start doing that kind of stuff with anything in life, and watch how things start to change.
See, what's interesting is we're planning a big expedition, another one in August, and so Jenna and I went out to scout this one location to see if we wanted to do part of our expedition there. And prior to getting there, we spent the last 30 minutes driving, doing Reiki, and amplifying our energy off of each other. And so
Right.
we got out of the car and we were just buzzing, right?
Yeah.
And we start walking down this power line corridor, and I saw one right away, but I was like, that can't be a Bigfoot.
Like that, right?
But I mean, it was standing out in the open, just looking at us like, what's coming? What's going on here? I mean,
And
that was like the sense
guys
that
made
I got
yourself,
from it. It was like, what's going
yeah,
on here?
you guys
And
made yourself like a beacon. You know what I mean? Like you guys, it was almost like us seeing an orb in the woods. That's probably what he was seeing. He was probably like, what is that? You guys came through glowing.
Right. And we really
right?
did. I mean, I was feeling that energy. In fact, I'm getting shots of it right now, just even thinking about it. But I was literally feeling the energy from my feet all the way up to my head. I remember telling that to Jen too. I was like, "Oh,
And
so
so
This is
we started that
a
walk just going zing. We're
uh,
here.
this is a cheat sheet I give everybody. I tell them to get like a quartz crystal and put it like an inch over your palm, and you hold it still, and it'll start. If you have energy, it'll start to do this. Like swing, swing, swing in a counter, in a circle, and you'll see how open your energy is. Like, I mean, mine always does it in a big. It didn't always. It didn't always when I started this. I wasn't. It would barely do anything. But now it's like always going. It's like
mhm.
that Reiki hand. In the beginning, you're like, "Ugh, I don't know what to do," and then after time, it just comes right away.
And then you follow your instincts, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what I teach my students to do too is learn to sense it and just follow it because and it turns out to be sometimes different for each person I mean, I had one student one time, she was doing this over the person's body and she's like looking through her fingers like that. I'm like, what are you doing? And and she's like, look, and she's like trying to have me look through her fingers. And she goes, can you see it? And I'm like, what are you seeing there? And she said it's like a crystal that appeared that she
Oh,
saw through a
that's cool.
crystal in her fingers when she held her
Right,
fingers like this, and like she could see into the body with this crystal.
That's
right.
cool.
And I couldn't see that, but that was a gift that came to her.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like planting wildflower seeds you have no idea what you're going to get.
Right.
It's just what are they going to blossom into? You have no, that's what's fun about it.
I totally agree. I mean, I'm just a regular guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a regular dude who went through like a crappy life and like deals with regular stuff. And like, I used to laugh at people who like talked about like karma and like spiritual stuff. And like, you're a cornball. You know what I mean? Like, you're a freaking dork. Like, cool, waste your time. Like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like, I literally like was like a heckler. And like now I'm like an advocate. You know what I mean? Because like, and that's why I try to be an advocate, because I hope that people can relate to like the fact that I'm just like, I wasn't born with any. If I was, I don't know, maybe, but I wasn't really born with these gifts and these intuitions and these like sense, these things that I've learned. Like it was a learned thing, but so worth it, so worth it. And like Reiki's great because like I had a guy come on and help me talk about it. One of the points he made was like totally true, and it's even in the book. Like, it's like when you're doing Reiki on someone, it's not just the person that's receiving it. Like it's healing and good for both parties, and it never depletes you, which is what I was always concerned about. I'm like, look, and I was in a bad place at the time. Like, I don't got no energy to give. You know what I mean? Like, I'm dragging all over the place. Like, I can't give nobody my energy, And then they were like, no, it doesn't, it comes from elsewhere. It's coming through you. So like, it's coming through you, and you're getting some of the residual, and wherever you harness it from, that's up to you, obviously, right? But or whatever's willing to give it to you, you harness. But you get my drift.
Oh yeah. So what do you think about the world and how everybody's trying? I mean, do you see it going in a good positive place as far as, you know, energies, frequencies, them opening up their eyes, or do you think people are just kind of shutting their eyes more now?
I think it's gonna go through like little ups and downs for now, but I think there's a change coming for the positive. Like it's like a big tidal wave that's coming, but it's gonna take time for it to crash and like go over everyone, metaphorically. But yeah, there's. I mean, I don't look at the world as a whole really like normal people do. Like I'm not interested in what the hell is going on out there with like the news and stuff. Like all that crap is off. You know what I mean? Like I do indulge in like social media, and like I will indulge in like people, and I'll like get invested in stupid things. Like I'm human, right? But uh yeah, as far as like these grand scale things, like I try to just be the change I want to see, and if it affects a small group of people in a positive way, then hell yeah, because that's gonna, whatever. Even if it doesn't even trickle effect, each one teach one or whatever, pay it forward. Even if it doesn't, if it stops there, then it was worth it.
Definitely. I've actually been getting messages through numbers lately, and a couple of the numbers I didn't understand at the time, but I was being unfair to people,
Hmm.
and I was not respecting the words that were coming out of my mouth so much. And I happened to get two numbers. I wasn't able to write them down, but I remembered them because they were very specific and they showed them right next to each other. Well, one of them was saying you need to quit being so unfair to people and start looking at what is being represented. And the other one was, you know, you respect the words that are coming out of your mouth, because your words and your actions are what represents and what is showing people my truest self. And it was like, wow, those were huge messages, and those were through numbers. And I thought, my gosh, and these numbers were so obviously meant to give me that knowledge. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
So I think we're being communicated with on multiple levels, whether it's through books, through numbers we're seeing, through psychic vision, through prophecy, whatever. We're being contacted, we're being communicated with. What do you think
Guided.
about that? Hmm?
Guided.
good. Yeah.
Guided, yes, that's a good word.
Tammy was gonna say something, I think.
No, you were going to say something.
Oh, what are you? I can't keep up. I agree. I totally agree. I think that damn, I was gonna say something good too. What was the question? No,
There
yes,
wasn't really a question. I was just
I just
asking
were
you.
being contacted. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I think it's important to always remember, like when you have those moments like that, like I feel like something is happening right now, or when people have a sighting, right? I always say, remember what happened in that initial moment, because after that, we start to flake out, we start to have ADD, we start to get distracted with normal things, and right? Or we're driving, so we get back to that, or whatever the thing is. But or human doubt comes into play, and all the brainwashing that we've had and everything. And I always say, like, I don't care what you think you saw or what you think just happened. Jot it down, remember it, however you got to do it. Like, and I don't care how crazy it is. If it's like, I think I used example earlier, like a unicorn riding a dragon through a three-ring circus or something. Like, if that's what you think you saw, hang on to it, because after that, you're going to start to psych yourself out and other people's opinions and yada, 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 right? And you're
Yes.
just, I spit out anything. I don't care. Like, that's why I video everything. I do a video diary. I just talk as I go. I don't, I don't like listening to myself after, because again, I'm thinking differently when I'm back, and I'm like hearing myself, that what I'm doing in that moment, but it's important for me to do it that way, you know?
It's important for those specifics. Like you were talking
Yeah,
about being a storyteller. I have this problem with telling specifics. Jen is great at it. Tammy's great at it. I have an issue with telling specifics because it just
yeah.
doesn't come like that for me.
Yeah, I honestly think it's a personal thing. I don't think I do specifics because I don't care to do specifics. You know what I mean? I think I'm kind of like a private person, and like very reserved and stuff like that. Like, and I think that's who I am as a person. So that's just how it ends up, like, reverbing. Like when I'm telling a story or when I'm doing stuff like that. I think I'm kind of like, even though I'm there for that, I think I'm kind of like, when it comes to a description, I think I'm kind of giving it its like space and respect, and not really like judging it up and down. You know what I mean?
hmm Do you think that's the biggest change that you've noticed since the change in you?
What do you mean?
He changed
No,
to go
no,
through
no. That
menopause.
Yeah.
I think that
Have you gone to menopause, Tammy?
I think I would like that. Yeah,
But I mean the good change for you when you started seeing life in a different, more positive way and starting to accept things that you saw as
yeah, definitely, yeah, definitely. And then it gave me like a new lease on life. You know what I mean? Like I always say, I was the type of person that's always said there's got to be something more. Like, this can't be it. Like
Mhm.
sitting in cubicles and worrying about, stupid. I mean, the things that people ruin people's day, like, I mean, couldn't phase me in the
Yep.
slightest. Like, I literally, like, I have one of those like Bitmojis where like I'm in a meteor shower sipping a soda, and like it's like, like that's just who I am. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm so used to, like, uh like things going awry and like chaos, and you know what I mean. Like, I guess maybe I thrive in it, but yeah, definitely, like, you know I found my inner peace for sure. That was one of the things that the Sasquatch told me in the beginning, because I'm like, nah, you got the wrong guy. Like, I can't be an advocate. I can't connect people's, our peoples. You're gonna connect our peoples. You're gonna be an ambassador to connect our peoples. You got the wrong guy. I'm shy. I don't want to do that. Like, I'm trying to fly below the radar, and you want me to like talk to people? Like, I don't even know. Like, at this point, I'm like dodging people left and right. Like, I got a service dog at this point to keep people from getting close to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's who I was at this point. And this is what the Sasquatch is telling me. And I'm like, you're wrong. And it was almost like sarcastic, like, you know what I mean? Like a laughing, like, we're not wrong. Like, like, you're wrong, fool. Like, and yeah, anyways, so, but yeah, the healing and all that it's been really great since then. It's been nice. And don't get me wrong, I'm no angel. I'm not perfect. Like, no, by any damn means. Like, by
None
any,
of us are.
like, no, I'm a disaster walking, right? But I have my moments where, like, I learned how to come back from that. Like, it's how you deal with it and how you react. Like, when you go into those places and you go into those, or you get into those situations, like, how do you recover and how do you come back from it? And, like, what do you do? And I was a fighter. Like, that's what I did. I was martial artist, kind of like mixed. I dabbled in different things. Yeah, you too. And one of the things they teach you is restraint, but I wasn't really good at that part. I never really was good at that part. I was good. I wanted to just learn how to kick ass. You know what I mean? And I didn't really need the restraint part. I just want to know how to kick ass. And like I used
That's
it.
Tammy.
Yeah. So I
Well,
used
yes, but I have so much restraint now.
yeah. So up till the army, I didn't learn the restraint really till later. But they knew in the army that I was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I knew that. So they used me for their combatives tournaments in Korea. I was stationed in Korea for a year. So they used me over there for that. That's kind of like, like the cage fights without the cage, right? So, but everybody does the same style. It's not like, everyone does combatives. It's mixed, it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu army style. So everyone's doing the same stuff. So it's a lot easier than a cage because you get a bunch of mixed stuff in there. But I knew a couple different things, so I was sneaking them in. But regardless, point is, I didn't really know restraint still. So a lot of the stuff I learned later, especially from the Sasquatch, like that, I swear that, like that was the moment, like that made me kind of start to go down this like journey. And I was doing it a little bit before, but that really made me committed, commit to something. I don't think I've ever finished anything in my life, like, or really wanted to. Let's put it that way. Like, I'd get involved in something or get interested in something, or I'd be like, yeah, I want to do that. And then I'd be like, but this is something that's not like, this isn't really a hobby, like for me, it's not. It's like an everyday thing. It's my life. They're inserted into my life now. And I'm not saying all the Sasquatch across the world, but there's a couple that have inserted themselves in my life. And I like it. I enjoy it. I let them. I always hear people say, don't let them follow you home. Like, if they only knew. Like, if they only knew. Follow me home if they only knew. Like, what it is.
So you're not in the flesh and blood camp.
No. I mean, they are flesh and blood sometimes, but
Mm-hmm. So tell us, what do you think they are?
They're not skipping through Long Island neighborhoods to get here. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not hopping my neighbor's fence. So take it or leave it. But they're here, so how did they do it? Yeah.
Right? What do you think?
So,
Well, I don't know exactly, whether they used a portal to get here, whether they cloaked, whether they interdimensional did something cool. I don't know, whether they orbed. I don't know. They got here somehow cool, somehow. Maybe they traveled through the trees. It's a million different. There's a million. That's why I don't categorize them, because there's too much stuff involved with them.
Because
right.
nobody really knows.
Well,
Yeah.
they're multi-elementals, and that's one way I describe them. Like, elementals are like pretty cool enough, right? They're like masters of an element, but like Sasquatch can control them all for the most part, from what I've seen.
I like that.
I've seen them appear in people's campfires, and like they connect to water, they pop out of trees, like whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or people's foreheads.
Or people's heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
It was
right.
so freaking amazing. It was so.
I mean,
I still.
Sometimes I forget. I feel like sometimes I'm like, I'm like out here on like, sometimes I do shows with people and I'm like, oh, like, what should I not say? But yeah, I forgot. You guys are wide open. That's good.
Oh yeah. I think we've all seen plenty of things that are very unique. Although
most people won't say them, because everything, a lot of people are data based, evidence based, proof based, right? Prove it to me.
Yep.
I don't care. And like the proof is really not even that fun, because even when you have something good, nobody cares, nobody believes you.
Right.
Right?
And that was the argument today. I know this guy always says everything's too blurry or this and that, right? And then they were talking about the 4th of July footage or whatever, the Independence Day footage, and the same guy says, it's too good. I said, so it's either too bad or it's too good, huh?
Right.
Red sword comes out. Don't matter. Don't matter what you do.
No one's going to believe anybody's other stories unless they saw it or they were there, because everybody else's stuff is maybe it's not real, but if
It's
it
suspect.
happened to you, then
Yeah.
you know it was real.
Well,
So
Yes.
you're never gonna please everybody. Never gonna impress or
convince.
everybody. You're not gonna do much for the masses, right? The masses are never gonna get behind you and be like, ah. I know people who I know racists, right? That people that hate other humans or people who think they're a superior type of human, and I'm supposed to tell them about something that lives in the woods that's more cool than them, that's smarter than them. Like, you think they're gonna bite on that? Like, I
Yeah.
just masses a while ago. Like I know a guy who thinks he's part of the New York Giants. Like, we every time they play. Like, like people will invest in what they want, and the people who come to me and the people who come to the subject and the people who come wanting and like really are eager to learn, that's where I invest my energy.
Mhm.
In those people. I don't pick those fights like on Facebook. Like, I see people do, they bicker all day, and I'm like, I don't even watch them anymore because it's just so like sad.
Exhausting.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just it. That's why I tell people, and I'm trying to tell people, and I'm trying to let them know the only way you're going to know the truth is if you get out there and get it for yourself. See
Yeah.
it for yourself. Get
Or
out
yeah,
there for yourself.
yeah. Or when you have experiences of your own, and then you meet somebody else who has a similar experience, you know that that's possible because you had that experience yourself.
Yes, that makes a huge, huge, huge deal. You're able to appreciate and believe other people's stories because you've
Yeah.
experienced something that is so unbelievable yourself. You're saying if it happened to me, then
Yeah.
it has to be able to happen to somebody else.
Right.
But the
Right.
other part of that, as a Reiki master or as a Reiki practitioner, energy doesn't lie. You can
Sure.
sense people's energy when they tell a story. So when people say, "Well, I don't believe that this story is true," and I'm like, I can tell you right now that the energy they were giving off when they were telling the story, they believe what they are saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They're not lying.
You
What
know,
they're telling you is what they believe is what happened.
I totally agree with you, but I'm bad at like I'm bad at talking myself out of that sometimes because I want to believe the person. Like, when it's not the truth, I want to believe them, and I'm like bad at talking myself out of it. Like,
Well, they have all these things that you're supposed to watch for people, like if they look to the left or if they look to the right or
Just energy.
that's
All
up
you
and
need.
everything else.
that's no good.
Energy.
Though. That's no good because I know
I think it confuses a lot of people. I really
it
do.
is, because that's like, I mean, that's like in an interrogation with the FBI or
Right?
something. Like, I mean, these aren't people who are under questioning for a murder. They're literally sitting there and just talking. So you don't know if they're looking to the right because their dog is there. You know what I mean? So like that doesn't work. I hear people say it all the time. Oh, did you see how many times they look left? I'm like, do you know that person? They're like, no. I'm like, so how do you know their kid isn't over there sleeping? How do you know that they don't have an infant over there laying in a crib and it's moving every 30 seconds to a minute? You don't. So don't just, you know, because it seemed pretty good to me, other than the whole looking to the left thing or whatever. So
Hmm.
I try not to do that. And again, like, people like that thing though. People like that, and I think that's why people buy into that. They like the whole uh, true crime, or they like the whole federal aspect of liars, and so people buy into what they are into, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Ooh. I look to my
Sorry.
left because that's where my bedroom door is.
I really have
That's
enjoyed having you on the show tonight, Mike.
Oh my gosh, it's already 9:58. Holy moly.
yeah.
That went
Well,
fast.
hilarious.
Holy moly, hookaboli.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. It did go
Can
fast, but I think
can
it's because we just had fun and hung out.
Yeah, well, that's what we like to do. We like to get to know people better and share ideas and experiences that way. And, we sure like to have you on again sometime. And of course, we want you to share how people can find you online if you'd like to share.
Yeah, well, it's Long Island Bigfoot. It's really easy. That's where I am. I'm on YouTube. So.
Long Island Bigfoot. Check him out, everybody.
Don't do it.
That was a
Don't
thumbs
do
up.
it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Check him out.
He doesn't want to hear from you.
He wants you to check him out. He just doesn't want you to contact him.
Right? He doesn't want you to comment. Just check him out.
Nah, just kidding. But yeah, I'd love to have you guys on them, but we'll talk about that later.
All right.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
so awesome.
Well, we're open. We'd love to come on your show and stomp around Long Island a little bit from far away. But okay, here's how much I know about Long Island. I actually thought it was an island.
It is. It is an
Is
island.
it?
Yeah. So is Manhattan and Staten, and yeah, of course. See, so Queens and Brooklyn are on Long Island technically. So yeah, but Long Island's an island, absolutely, yeah.
Well,
Okay,
hey, I'm
now I'm
not as
embarrassed.
fruity as I thought I was. Hey, there I go.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge island, but it's an island.
Right. Awesome. Well, I'm trying to keep it to our regular time. So I'm gonna say thank you for coming on, and we're gonna do a little dance to no music. Girls.
Yes, I'm so there.
and we should have music back next week, everybody. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Right.
Thanks, guys.